So now I'm homeless as as predicted. Not really. I was able to move in with a buddy, but basically this compound, which I later found out was trenbolone, has absolutely, go figure, has absolutely wrecked my whole life. To add insult to injury, I learned that the guy who recommended my dosage meant 200 milligrams per week total, split into 3 separate doses, not What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we are going to be visiting the subreddit, the MPMD subreddit, and there was an interesting thread called My Worst Cycle Story. Can it possibly get any worse? So obviously these videos are always really interesting, practical examples of what not to do and things to avoid, you know, bad situations that have occurred from a lack of proper research. So these are typically good educational moment type videos to kind of, you know, teach, especially the guys who haven't started or who are new to this or who whatever, like if you're dead set on doing it, what not to do and how to avoid getting fucked up. Because this is an example. Again, I haven't even read this one, but I'm assuming it's another thing about, you know, not planning well and what he should have done to avoid whatever outcome happens in this thing. So anyways, we're gonna go through it together. I can't pinpoint the exact series of events that have led me here, but I'm currently in the middle of my worst cycle. So, help, I guess. This all started, oh, so this isn't his first cycle, it's his worst cycle in general. This all started because of my buddy who I'll call Charlie. He got all tied up in Les Sauce maybe 6 or 7 years ago and went from being a legit twig, 150 pounds on a good day, to being king candy, 240 pounds, 100% bald, and looking like what I picture an old man's Johnson looks like when he's jelking. You can tell this is my subreddit by the language here. If you didn't get that metaphor, I don't blame you. I'm about as good at metaphors as I am at, well, everything that I suck at. Just picture red and veiny in your brain. That's Charlie. Last November, Charlie came to me saying that he had a compound that was, in his words, clinically proven to be safer than other steroids with half the side effects. I was intrigued. As a lifelong gym goer, I haven't seen any real gain since I graduated college. I've always heard all the horror stories about roids, and I've struggled with acne and my temper for my whole life. So I've always assumed if I took roids, I would end up homeless or in prison with my face looking like a pepperoni pizza. Before I go any further, you should all know that I know zero about steroids. Zilch, bupkis, nada. My worst cycle is, okay, so it is his first cycle. I guess that also means it's my best cycle, doesn't it? Yeah. And I have no idea what I'm doing. So anyways, sorry, I'm having a hard time thinking straight. A lot has happened in the past 5 months. I copped 4 vials off Charlie and started with what another guy of similar stature recommended at our local gym. 200 milligrams thrice a week, 600 milligrams per week. When I asked Charlie about this, he said that was a large dose, but I should be fine because you're already an experienced lifter. It's like fucking 10 question marks. Plus, I wasn't worried about it because he had promised little to no side effects. And so it began. The first thing I noticed right away was sometimes when I took my dose, I would break down coughing so hard I literally thought I was going to asphyxiate. That only happened a few times though and then went away. Next, I literally could not sleep at night to save my life. So I'm getting the idea that this guy probably did trend, but I mean, like he doesn't sound like a total moron the way he's writing. So like, I don't know if he's saying this just to have a story that's like maybe didn't even happen, or if this actually happened, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and keep going. That only, let's see, next I couldn't sleep to save my life. I would lie there and sweat like a crazy beast. Eventually I got so tired and started taking NyQuil just to catch a few winks. My acne did increase, but not nearly as bad as I thought it would. Meanwhile, I was making massive gains in the gym. I'm talking huge gains. I increased my bench by 60 pounds in the first 2 months. I also gained quite a bit of weight while staying pretty lean, and this is where it started to get weird. About 2 months into my first cycle, I started noticing bumps growing under my nipples. My girlfriend, who I'll call Linda, actually noticed before I did because I liked my nipples licked and rubbed before sex. Don't lie, I know some of you like that too. That brings up a good point. I got mad horny when I started my cycle. I'm talking like rub one out in the car while driving to Burger King horny. Like the smell of perfume makes me want to go Genghis Khan on these hoes and rip their clothes off. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how intense the first blast is in terms of it's like hitting puberty all over again. But that's besides the point. I basically ended up doing the dirty with my girlfriend's younger sister because I'm a horn dog and have no self-control. I was so paranoid that Linda was also cheating on me that I justified it in my mind. So this sounds really, really trenbolone right now. She wanted my noodle and I couldn't say no, so I gave her the noodle. Linda found out though, freaked out for no reason. What? Linda found out though and freaked out for no reason. She gave me an ultimatum. She said either I am completely abstinent besides sex with her or she wants me to move out. Makes no sense whatsoever, I know, especially because she has cheated on me before. Wait, what, dude? I thought you just said you were paranoid, but you didn't know if it happened. Like, am I fucking blind? Like, hang on. Doing the dirty blah, blah, blah. I was so paranoid that Linda was also cheating on me that I justified it in my mind. Okay, so I guess he convinced himself that it happened, even if he doesn't really know. I don't really know. So anyways, he thinks that she cheated on him because she cheated on me before. Granted, not with my brother, lol. This is getting too long, so I'll wrap it up. Long story short, around this time I started lactating. I kid you not, I produce milk like a cow. What in the actual F? The bumps under my nipples are so big I have been wearing pasties and I'm thinking about wearing some kind of bra to hide them because I look like some freak tranny. Is this legit? Come on. I don't know. My nipples are the size of Linda's younger sister. No joke. LOL. Oof. I ordered a chastity device from Amazon, which is basically like a little cage for your sausage that clamps around your testes so that you can't jerk off or smash. I thought this would help manage my horniness, but turns out it's just a constant reminder that I want to penetrate anything that moves. Plus, my cojones are so shriveled up at this point that if I push them hard enough, they come out of the cage. So I ended up smashing with Linda's younger sister again, and sure enough, she finds out again. Surprisingly, was super derogatory to me about how small my junk is. She's not wrong. I basically, dude, this is such fucking horseshit. She's not wrong. I basically have a little smoky sausage at this point, but she freaked out and used a hammer to bend the chastity cage so that it was too small to pull off. Fuck, dude, fuck off. There's no way this is real. My nuts were turning purple, so I cut it off with bolt cutters last week, but she kicked me out anyways. She says I'm not the same man I fell in love with. So now I'm homeless as predicted. Not really. I was able to move in with a buddy, but basically this compound, which I later found out was trenbolone, has absolutely, go figure, has absolutely wrecked my whole life. To add insult to injury, I learned that the guy who recommended my dosage meant 200 milligrams per week total, split into 3 separate doses, not 3 times a week. But in my modest attempts to research steroids, all I've managed to learn is that more plates, more dates, and some guy named Greg are basically the only ones who seem to know what they're talking about on the subject. What do? Do I continue with the 600 milligrams until I finish the 6 months, or do I end it prematurely? Will my test levels tank if I do? Please advise. Okay, I can't even believe. Earlier I said this guy sounds like he's fairly well-spoken and was giving him compliments because this is the biggest troll post and or this guy is a moron. Like, unfortunately, this is on my subreddit. So, are your test levels tanked? Yeah, they are. You're not even on a test base. So your test levels are 0 right now. Like, obviously this is not impacting your life in a good way if this is even real, so get the fuck off, you know? Get this thing out of your system and get back to natural, obviously. Bro, what in the actual fuck? Why did I say it like that? Bro, what the actual fuck? I don't know why I read that part. Please don't tell me you did 600 tren as a beginner with no test base. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. I could already tell from your description of what happened that you were on tren. Jeez, brother, cut that shit out right now and go get ya blood work checked and do a PCT. Also, wait for the trend to clear before getting the blood work done. Like, fuck, bro. Nobody takes 600 tren with no fucking test base. Yeah, there's no way this guy did this in my opinion. And if he did, I can't even take it seriously, dude. I know my dude. I literally know nothing about steroids. That's not even half the story. There have been times when I literally wanted to kill people for no reason. The worst side effects haven't even been physical, they've been mental. I have mad anxiety 24/7 and can't stop thinking about the most random past events. Like, for example, 2 weeks ago, someone at work said that another coworker almost hit my car. And for whatever reason, I now hate that coworker more than anyone. I've been so close to driving to his house and lighting his car on fire. In my mind, I know it's all irrational and because of hormones, but it doesn't stop this never-ending feeling of agitation. I act lighthearted in my post, but things are looking pretty dark right now. So are you saying I can fix my hormones by taking tests? I'm just scared to stop cold turkey because I've heard there can be irreversible damage. Dude, who told you that getting off 600 tren will be the thing that causes damage? Who told you that? Though that's probably already done, to be honest. Like, there's no way this guy watches my stuff or Greg's stuff if he somehow perceived from any of it that this was something that was reasonable. Like, nobody would even tell him to do 200 tren on the first cycle with no test base. Nobody has suggested any of this shit online. Nobody would tell you anything remotely close to this. Sounds to me like a guy who probably takes gear or dabbles and like researches about it and thought he could make a funny post talking about the hyper extreme version of what the side effects could be. And he knows the trenbolone compound like fairly generally has a good broad spectrum overview of what kind of things it does to your mind, your body, etc. You know, it could be wrong, but I mean, I don't know. It smells like fucking horseshit to me. Shit, is this real? Haha, unfortunately, yes. When your life is such a mess, people question its legitimacy. That's when you know you've got a problem. LOL, any advice? LOL, you need to stop taking Trenbolone now. Hop on 125 milligrams per week of test. Since your natural production has been crushed by now, and start taking some K-Bur to bring your prolactin down, tamoxifen to hopefully turn back time on that gyno. Jeez, brew. Blood test is highly advisable if you want to know. Like, I guess it would depend what ester this guy is using. When was the last time he pinned? Like, what the fuck is going on? Is there even a point of taking this seriously? I'm not really sure, to be honest. Dude, you basically spent your whole life never trying weed because it might be dangerous, and then you start smoking a gram of meth a week. Haha, I know, pretty ironic, right? Why am I actually this stupid? Jesus fucking Christ. This is a question to the more knowledgeable bros out there. How the fuck did he get gyno that bad without having test to aromatize into estradiol? Interestingly enough, there seems to be some idea that Trenbolone may inherently activate estrogen receptors, I believe, or it downstream leads to some sort of conversion to something. I forget what it is. But yeah, obviously progestogenic activity, prolactin, as well as the interaction with GHI-GF1. Granted, with zero estrogen, it's kind of weird too, but I mean, man, I don't know, like, is there a point of even fucking critiquing and being like everyone knows this is stupid, everyone knows not to do this. I'm pretty sure the guy who made this also knows that. By the end of it, can you take a pic of one of the vials? I can, but I'd have to send it to you privately. I'm sure, like, is this guy like not believing him either and wants him to prove it? It's like, post a fucking spoon pic with your trend. I'm sure I already on some sort of watch list for posting this. Besides, I'm not sure it would do you any good. I peeled the labels off months ago in case someone finds the vials. If you're wondering which type of Trenbolone it was, I'm not positive, but I think it's acetate. And I think it was 100 milligrams per milliliter or something like that. I can ask Charlie if you'd like. All right, so I was actually hoping this would be like a reasonable thing, but no, this is like the hyper extreme example of what not to do. And so bad that I don't think anyone would ever think that this is a good idea, to be honest. So Telecad, obviously the move is to get off your shit. Like, why the fuck would you continue on the trend? You know, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The fact that you made it this long, if it's even true, is baffling, dude. The fact that your dick even works is kind of baffling, to be honest. So anyways, that was hopefully somewhat entertaining, because that was almost like a waste of a post, to be honest. I was kind of excited to go through this, had it loaded up for today's video, and was like, oh, let's see, war cycle story. It's just scrolling through the first thing. I was like, okay, there's gonna be some good learning material in here, but no, it's like the hyper extreme example of like complete neglect of understanding anything to do with what you're doing with your body. So I don't know if it is real. Obviously, moral of the story, never use tren on your first cycle. What else? Test is best for the first cycle in general if you're planning on actually shutting yourself down. Obviously, you know, there's other compounds that you could argue are not going to shut you down fully, or it's going to suppress you to a lesser extent. And, you know, some people want to get something in and out of their system really quick. Some people can, you know, try and justify orals to begin with. And I'm not saying that is the best idea or the worst idea or whatever. I'm just saying in general, if you're going to approach cycle design as a newbie, it should be one compound, knowing what to expect from that compound, knowing it inside and out, how it's going to affect your blood work, having baseline blood work, having like actual mid-exposure blood work, and then post-cycle blood work, letting the hormone clear out of your system sufficiently in order to not have negative feedback with your HPTA before you start PCT. Common mistake a lot of these guys make is, you know, starting PCT literally 2 weeks after your last enanthate shot, you know, shit like that. And letting, like, especially even with tren, you know, like, how long is this thing going to be suppressing your HPTA for? Quite a long time, dude. It's definitely not going to be ready to start PCT 2 weeks later. So this is something that is, you know, passed down from the bro lore in the old forums from, you know, decade plus ago, and seems to be somewhat prevalent still among the, I don't know, gym community, whatever the fuck you call this shit. I don't know, but it's not that hard to find good information online now, dude. Like, the fact that he's even in the subreddit and writing this, like, to me shows he's willing to go online, make an account on an online forum essentially, and then write out this elaborate thing. Like, there's no way this guy, I don't think this guy would have done this shit. You know, probably a troll, but who the fuck knows? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with. In the video description below, my TRT clinic, it's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home, my recommended lab tests and diagnostics to get pre, mid, post cycle so you don't fuck yourself up and whatnot. And anything else I'm associated with, it's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.